Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV Tuesday afternoon and some breaking transfer news. Two bits really for Liverpool concerning Ibrahima Konate and Ozan Kabak as well. We've got some tweets which we're going to go through in a moment. But yes, it looks like there's going to be one in and one out, certainly for Liverpool in the defensive position. So we'll start with Fabrizio Romano over on Twitter saying, Ibrahima Konate to Liverpool, done deal. The medical's already completed days ago. Liverpool are going to trigger a €35 million release clause in the next days and announce the signing from RB Leipzig. Here we go. Confirmed. Personal terms have been agreed since April 23rd. The contract is until June 2026. What we've also seen, just to get it all up front and out the way, David Lynch and Fabrizio Romano saying similar things here. LFC have informed Ozan Kabak they won't be exercising the £18 million permanent option in his loan deal. Player now looking for an alternative route out of Schalke, while Liverpool push on with plans to sign Ibrahima Konate. And again, Fabrizio Romano saying Liverpool not paying the €18 million option to buy Kabak after securing the Konate deal. If the situation won't change in talks with Schalke, Kabak will come back after his loan spell at LFC and he'll be available for many clubs interested. Now, just one little interesting turn of phrase, and this might just be a lost in translation thing, but he does say if the situation won't change in talks with Schalke, which could leave the door open. I mean, we were talking in the office immediately about this, and Chris's immediate reaction was, we'll get him for cheaper. Now that's very much a possibility, although again it might if that's the case and it's not just they've just permanently decided, there's a possibility that this is a bargaining position, because look, Michael Edwards is the ultimate negotiator, transfer god of transfers. So it wouldn't shock me in any way, shape or form if this was a bargaining position to try and get the player for a few £1 million cheaper, because why would you pay more if you could pay less, particularly when you're in this kind of environment, of course. I mean, I hate haggling personally, but also I'm not in charge of a multi-billion pound business. Right, Sal, just to follow up some of this as well, David Ornstein saying Liverpool intend to pay the Konate release clause. He's got it at €41 million by comparison to, I think it was 35 from Fabrizio Romano. He said it must be up front, no instalments. Liverpool not signing Ozan Kabak permanently. No decision yet on Phillips. So we'll have a little look into the Athletic article here, and saying they're closing in on the signing of Ibrahima Konate and intend to meet the Leipzig defender's release clause. Konate, 22, has a €41 million euro release clause. In his current contract, which needs to be paid upfront rather than in instalments. There's been rival interest in the French youth international, who's enjoyed a promising campaign for Leipzig in the Bundesliga, but Liverpool have been in the driving seat for some time, and the Athletic first revealed they were in the process of finalising a deal for him in Ornstein's weekly column in March. Good on you, David Ornstein. It says they do not intend to keep Ozan Kabak at the club, however. It says Liverpool made Konate one of their primary transfer targets earlier this year. To understand they don't intend to sign Kabak, we keep saying this over and over again, you get the point. Kabak hopes to stay at Anfield on a permanent basis, and a decision has not been made on the future of Nat Phillips. So yeah, we got a couple of points. There's actually some expansion from this from Neil Jones. I'm going to be talking to Neil Jones tomorrow, doing a loan report on some of the guys over in the Bundesliga for us. But there's some interesting additional comments on this. He talks about how likely is it to go through. He says personal terms are likely to be an issue, with reports in Germany suggesting a 5-year contract is agreed in principle. Then it goes down a little bit further. And says we should have centre-half Gomez, Matip back from injury for the time next season. Impressive note from Nat Phillips, since being drafted in as emergency cover, provides another option, as does 20-year-old Reece Williams, who's likely to be loaned out next season to further his development. So that's a very interesting one indeed. Let me know your thoughts on all of this. I've got a few things I want to come to, but I'm happy to go through a few comments before I do. Michael Teague saying, Redmen, get a new camera, Paul. Looking balanced and smooth, to be honest. No, I mean, Tom, is there something you've not been doing that you started doing today?
No, just great in general.
He says, no, he's just great in general. I mean, it's fine. Let's just go with that. Tom's great in general. That's fantastic. I mean, a lot of people talking about what we do. I've seen plenty of people saying things like Harry J is saying sell Matip for 10 million. Maybe you can pay that Kabak fee, no problem. And a few people saying this about the Joel Matip situation. And obviously, I don't know. Would you? I mean, we don't know how fit Virgil van Dijk is going to come back. We don't know what Gomez is going to come back. But I mean, honest answer, would you swap Matip, let's say effectively in the squad, would you be swapping Matip for Kabak? Because my thing on this is that I think £80 million for a capable centre half is fine. I think it's fine. I don't think Kabak has been exceptional since joining. I think he's been decent for the 21-year-old lad. But Matip on his day he's our second best centre half. He's one of the best centre halves in the league. He's one of the best centre halves in Europe. But we know he's got injury problems. He's barely played more than a dozen games a season for the last 2 years. But in terms of where are they in the pecking order? Are they fourth choice, fifth choice, sixth choice centre halves? And does Nat Phillips's kind of rise make that a little bit more of a difficult conversation? It's certainly one to be considered. We got here Rifan Pucha saying Kabak will stay. City Fisher saying Matip never plays, so time for him to go. Kevin Ball saying Kabak is too slow for the high line. It's interesting because my feeling on the Kabak stuff is that he's not so good that it's a no-brainer, and I think we've seen just about enough of him to get a rough understanding. And he's not better than Van Dijk, Matip, or Gomez, and I don't think he is significantly better than Phillips I think he's better than Williams, but I don't think he's like significant. By significantly, I mean like miles, like how Virgil van Dijk is better than every other human being on the planet, like that kind of difference. So it is a bit of a. Look, I'm saying he's not slow. Kabak's not slow, but I think you need to be. I think he's too slow for someone who's not 6'4". If you take my meaning on that, I think you can be slow as a centre half if you've got really good position stats or you're big and you've got other attributes. He's not very tall and he's not very fast. So, like Gomez isn't very tall, but he's very fast and he's got a lot of other things going for him. Phillips is brilliant in the air, but he's a bit slow, so he makes up for it. And Kabak is he's just fine. He's fine. I like Kabak. I don't want to sit here and say otherwise, but yeah, it is a very interesting point. Just want to make something. I just want to draw attention to Ozan Kabak's time at Liverpool. I've got his stats up for the season here. You can see obviously he comes in against Leicester, 2 tricky games to start off his Liverpool career in the league, certainly. Before we start to turn things around, it's this little period in the middle here: Wolves, Arsenal, Villa, Leeds, Newcastle, when we really turn the corner in terms of form, and then obviously misses the back end of the season, the final 5 games out of the squad with injury, which we also go on to win with Phillips and Williams at the centre-back position. Just to counterbalance a little bit of this, I was looking at Joel Matip, 19-20, this is the season we win the league. He only makes 13 appearances in all competitions, 9 in the Premier League this season, which we know he was written off for the season in January. He only made a grand total of 12 appearances, 10 in the Premier League, 2 in the Champions League. I'm just going to wind it all the way back to 18-19 just to see if we had a little bit of an uptick prior to that, because we know he has had a lot of consistent injury problems since he's been at Liverpool. And back to 18-19, maybe we got 31 games in all comps out of him. If you could guarantee that, you'd have no question marks over it. But the question is do Liverpool need one more? We don't know what's going to happen with Van Dijk. We don't know what's going to happen with Gomez. We know they'll come back, but what level are they coming back and how much protection are they going to need? Konate very much feels like a step in the right direction in terms of the absolute quality. But then if you have to start, you don't know that Van Dijk's going to be 100% to start the season. Same with Gomez and Matip, although there's the hope that they will be. It looks like they're on schedule to. So would you be happy with Ibrahima Konate and Nat Phillips being Liverpool's starting centre-back pairing for the new season? It's an important consideration for what we're doing. Yes. So let us know your thoughts. I'll get to a few more comments in a second. LFC saying, let's buy Varane, Paul. Yeah, why not? Jeremiah B saying Gomez always seems to get injured every season. And I think the hope will be Van Dijk will come back largely the same. Konate is brought in, I think, to be a partner or I think in Liverpool's ideal world, Gomez becomes the heir apparent to Virgil van Dijk, and we saw a little bit of that when he got injured, very little before he got injured himself. I think Gomez will naturally become our left-sided centre-half, and I think Konate is brought in because he's obviously a bit younger than Gomez now, but he will be a natural partner. He's 6'4" as well, which is massive for a centre-half, so he covers a lot of bases, and he's got good recovery pace as well as all of those things. So I think the Konate thing makes absolutely perfect sense, but it is a little bit, it's a big challenge for what Liverpool have got ahead of themselves. Who would be your what is the pecking order for you? Let's say the Konate stuff goes ahead. Let's back Fabrizio Romano on this and say it's the case. Let's say Liverpool are, as mentioned here, let's say it's a done deal. Let's say it's a here we go. Let's say Van Dijk, Gomez and Matip are all completely healed and they're starting pre-season like anyone would normally start pre-season. What is your pecking order of the centre-halves, and what are you doing? Are you looking to sell Matip? Are you looking to sell Phillips? What are you looking to do with Reece Williams? Let me know that in the comments section. And we will see. We'll see how we get on with all that stuff. But I think it's a big opportunity for Liverpool this summer to capitalise on the massive amount of luck we've ended up in not completely catastrophically cocking up the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did something else. But there was my theory on the centre-back thing was Kabak's there, and if you don't make it into the Champions League, so you've got a little bit of a hit to your coffers, you probably box Kabak off. And I did wonder whether if we got Champions League, we just saw both, because I do think this is a season we're going to go into where, if last season showed us anything, just have too many lads. But we don't know. I've not mentioned Ben Davies' name once in all this. He plays for us as well, apparently. He might be a consideration. Where's he in your pecking order? Is he even real? Is he a person? There's no way of knowing. No proof that he's genuinely a flesh and blood human being. But yes, one other, let me see if I can find it before I continue to talk. There's one other interesting tweet that I noticed, which I will find for you momentarily while I continue to fill for a second or two. Let me find it. Grizz Khan, who I think is about to make himself the star of Liverpool Twitter over the summer. He says, I believe this summer we'll see the foundations of the next spine of this LFC team put into place. Ibrahima Konate is an excellent start in what will be a very good summer. I like it. I don't know whether Grizz has got any access or insight into this, but I like the tone and phrasing of everything that he said there. That's great. We're seeing Indy Kyler talking about Jadon Sancho as well. Cool. Who are your targets? Who are you going for? What business do you think Liverpool need to do? What's the absolute essentials? If Konate's done, what are you doing next? Who's the next player, whether it's a particular player name or, position or types, that whatever. What do you do? You're Michael Edwards. What's your next move? Let me know in the comments. I've seen some people actually saying Dan saying still Gomez and Van Dijk as the first choice. MP saying get Basuma in and Silva. Michael Manning asking, are we keeping Nat Phillips? I mean, at the moment, it was said just earlier there, no one quite knows the decision's not been taken on Phillips. Mikeable saying loan Kabak to Leipzig. Well, that's the interesting thing in terms of the Michael Edwards 4D chess. Do not be shocked in any way, shape or form if Ozan Kabak ends up at Leipzig. Don't be shocked, because that's the levels that he's playing on. He's moving pieces in the future. It's like Minority Report, except he's delving into the future and he's pulling strands and organising things. It's an end game style situation here, which is just absolutely essential. People asking Ethan Whittle, why isn't Kane an option? Kane might be an option. Who knows? Would Kane be an option for you guys? Is that what Liverpool need? He's a goal scorer, seeing that he can do work in terms of bringing people in, getting assists this season as well. That is, so good chance that Ruben Neves availability. What about Devraj Singh? What about Mbappe, Haaland, Sancho? I don't think Liverpool are ever going to buy a Kylian Mbappe. I don't. But someone like Haaland and Sancho, Haaland and or Sancho, or with the $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you so much, Jacob, saying I see Phillips in the same light of Emi Martinez. You got to taste the first team be a starting centre half for Liverpool next season if everyone else is fit. he won't be. And that's not fair. That's not me trying to be critical of him or whatever, but I just can't see that a world where he is that. He might be, and I'd love him to prove me and any doubters wrong. And not that he needs to prove me wrong, because I think he's great. But he might look at it and go, this is my value. He's playing Premier League football. He could play 38 games of Premier League football next season as a starting centre-half for a team. I don't know, what, a mid-table Premier League team? Maybe higher. Maybe that's being disrespectful. So yeah, big summer for Nat Phillips. Bigger than I think he ever would have dreamed possible, to be honest, which is sound. Yeah, absolutely sound for him. Right, sound. Okay. There's a good shout from JC, one of our members here on YouTube. I'd love to have Son. He's so underrated. Yeah, I mean, he's not, is he? But Harry Kane draws all the plaudits in that team. Son would be a perfect fit for Liverpool. Perfect. Yeah, if they could go and do that, just go and do that. That'll be absolutely sound. Right. Okay, we have done loads of shows, loads of bonus content for you guys. Don't worry, we've got you covered throughout the post-season. So we've got loanee reports. I mentioned Neil Jones. I'm going to talk to him about the guys, about Taiwo Awoniyi over in the Bundesliga, and Karius as well for a laugh. We've got reports on how Harvey Elliott fared. We've got reports on how Adam Lewis fared. We've got reports on all kinds of our loanees and how they're doing. That's great. We've also done it. We're going to be 3 episodes, all exclusively streaming on the redmentv.com. So if you need more, a little streaming service just for Liverpool fans, there's nothing quite like it. So yeah, do check that out. I just put it together. You'll have seen teaser 1 and teaser 2 by now. If you haven't seen teaser 2, do go and check it out on our socials. But yeah, perfect time to notification bell. If you want a big Nat Phillips just headed t-shirt, go to redmenmerch.com, or if you want it in Alison Becker form, they're available there. Yeah, redmenmerch.com, all that good stuff. Have a wonderful afternoon and evening. And yes, when we know something confirmed, rest assured we will bring it to you. Up the Reds.
Got to marry that man.
Top skipper, top captain, huh?
The dressing room's a much better place with people like him.
Well, he's a top-class player, no doubt about that.
A special trophy to a special guy. That special football club is. It doesn't get much better, does it?